Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Wright, and I am a student here at St. John's University. And I also work on behalf of Susan Damiani in the Office of Gift Planning here at St. John's University. And today I have the absolute honor and the absolute privilege of speaking with Miss Joanne Howard. Miss Joanne Howard and I have known each other prior to my attendance at St. John's. We actually belong to the same parish, being St. Thomas the Apostle in Old Bridge, New Jersey. And this is where our hello's from today. I thought it would have been a very nice way to connect with somebody from the same hometown that has graduated and taught at St. John's, and now me being a student. So we're both currently residing in Old Bridge, New Jersey, and we figured just to get a little quick hello from. So Joanne, again, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with me this morning.
No problem. Anytime.
Awesome. So I just want to get a little into it. Very simple things that I wanted to ask just in regards to you sharing your experience at St. John's. And I remember during my college process, I was very, very picky on where I wanted to go. A lot of things played into factor when it came to me picking my college. And I was a little curious to see what was your overall decision. What was your college process, if you remember, during that time that made you pick St. John's?
Well, I had it kind of limited to two colleges, the College of St. Joseph's, which was all women at the time, and then St. John's. Both being, I lived in Brooklyn at the time, and financially, I didn't think I could afford to go away, but yet I wanted a good college that would give me a great college experience. So my freshman year, I was actually at the Scimmahorn building, which was downtown Brooklyn, which really wasn't a campus, but it was a 13-story building with Quonset huts. And then a few doors down, we had another building. But I just felt comfortable because part of me wanted to go away and part of me didn't. But it was just such a great experience from the beginning. We had orientation, and I did see a bunch of people I went to high school with. So it made me feel comfortable automatically. And as I mentioned previously, one of them I've been friends with elementary, high school, college, as well as sorority sister. So I just felt like I fit right in. I pledged that fall of my freshman year for Lambda Chi sorority. And I'm still we have a whole little group of us that are still, friends. I don't want to say how many years later, but let's just say, quite a few years later. And I just went there and I knew I would be able to work after school and yet have my full college experience. And I was thrilled when St. John's moved to Staten Island because then we had a real campus, not just a city building. And that really, the Jamaica campus, the Queens campus was a bit of a long train ride because there were not apartments or dorms, back in the 70s. So it was an easy decision just to go to the Staten Island campus. It was small and really created a whole family-like atmosphere. So, from going and then we were allowed to transfer to other colleges and there was like kind of an agreement, but I just said, no, I just was in love with St. John's and wasn't going anywhere else. And subsequently, that's where I met my late husband at St. John's. And my son went to St. John's and, various other family members and so forth.
It's wonderful. When you and I all the time, when we see each other, we always make it a point to say how family-oriented St. John's is. And a lot of that is based from the experience and a lot of things that you have taken from St. John's. And your experience, you've shared so many stories with me, obviously, off of this. Right. But just from an overall description, your experience at St. John's, what did it mean to you as a student and what does it mean to you now, this day?
Well, as a student, what I liked was the professors knew me, and you could talk to them. Like, for instance, you've heard me talk about Dr. Tramarco, who's still going strong, thank God. I haven't seen her since the pandemic, but having a student-teacher tea at your professor's house, it was just so, to a young 21-year-old, this was like so impressive that a professor had us at the house. And years later, when I had my first child, ironically, she sent my son a St. John's banner, and he wound up going to St. John's. Keeping in touch. There was one professor who lived in my late husband's neighborhood, so he would see him at Mass. So the professors were accessible, and if you had a question, it wasn't like, oh, I have to wait, for 400 people. There were no really big, gigantic lecture halls, in my time. And you kind of knew everybody. And, it was nice, the experience that I went through with some of the same people in the education department. And then you got to know them and we became friends later on, and, different twists and turns. And I went to a 10-year reunion. We went to the big 25-year reunion at the Staten Island campus. And it was just, going there and, like I said, just constantly keeping in touch. And we had a great reputation. And I was fortunate back in the day. It was difficult to get a teaching job, but the St. John's reputation with our student teachers, I got a job in a Catholic school because you couldn't get in the public school at the time. But even years later, when people saw St. John's on my resume, it was like, okay, we know you've had a great background and whatnot. And there's never been a negative thing about it. It's always been very positive, and you meet people and you find out years later, oh my God, you went there, this one. It's like a just giant family, like I've said. And, anything I've gone to or whatever, and they've just been very helpful. When I did lose my husband, I got all kinds of, there was masses. I was to 9/11. Every year I get invited to a mass, St. John's. I got phone calls from people from St. John's, including, like I said, Dr. Tremarco. So, and this was he graduated in 73, and this is now 2001, and people were still, that many years later. It's a family that just, what can I say?
It's a family that somehow keeps on growing.
Growing, and you just wind up meeting. I become friends with people. Had lunch 2 weeks ago before I went away with one of the girls. I didn't go to school with her. She's about 8 years younger than me, but we, through St. John's, connected, and we become friends, and we get together. And through her, I met other St. John's alum who were in the 80s and whatnot. But we just, when we see them at the Daughters of St. Paul event or various events, but we also get together socially. So it's not just St. John's brought us together, but we've now become friends on a social aspect as well.
That's absolutely wonderful. It's just the connections and just like the environment St. John's gives not only the students, but the alumni as well, is something so grand. And it's something that I really hope that none of us really take for granted. And there was something that you said that I thought that was very interesting right in the beginning when I asked you your perspective on St. John's as a student. First thing that you said was the professors and how easily accessible that they were, and how kind they were, and how much they wanted you to succeed. And I know that you were a professor yourself, so I would assume that would have definitely been a reason for you to become a professor yourself, so you can help the students after you. So I guess I want you to, if it's okay with you, just to talk a little bit about your experience being a professor, and if there were any other professions that you had after that.
Well, prior to, I retired as a director of special ed in a charter school in Jersey City. I had been a teacher, and then when the opportunity, I also had taught at Middlesex County College, which is a community college, local to here. And there it was just you kind of went and you taught. But when I was teaching at St. John's, even though I was an adjunct, you were still part of the faculty. It was because of family issues I had to resign, just a lot of stuff going on, and it became difficult, but it was enjoyable. I had no problem with students emailing me at various times or calling and, checking on the sites. And I just wanted to give them all the insights and things that I had learned over the years as an educator, because I wound up teaching, in education, which is where my undergraduate degree was. But it was just, and then the one funny thing I told you was being at a meeting, and here's my professor, we're now peers, and there was still something. And I, all of a sudden, even though we were peers, I was still Joanne Sicignano, which was my maiden name in her class. But it was just incredible that this woman who I really admired, and I, based my career on her, because she was such a major influence in my life and becoming a teacher. And then I was honored in 2018 with the President's Medal of Honor, and she was at my table. And when she grabbed my hand and said, "I am so proud of you," that just meant the world to me, that a professor here, how many years later this was, I graduated in 74, and this is 2018, to have her and tables full of friends from St. John. So I had, I had to kind of limit it financially, but I had 2 tables aside from my family. I had friends, sorority sisters, and other St. John's friends. So it was just like a great experience to be chosen and honored. Was like amazing, something I never dreamed of.
It's crazy how it comes full circle like that.
And it was just like I said, it was just so, to be up there and to be actually, what was really nice is I was the only woman at this particular year and the only educator. So it was like really kind of extra special.
Sweet. That's that. Again, it's crazy how it all comes full circle. And it's just the impact that St. John's has had on you is definitely still lives with you. And a question that during the segment that we do with the Hello From videos is we always ask at the end, what does it mean to reconnect with you with the alma mater? And honestly, I feel like it would be wrong for me to ask you that because I feel as is if you never left St. John's.
It's kind of like that. It's something that, you see people like my son-in-law went to Penn State. I have friends and family that went to Notre Dame. And I mean, they're a bit crazy because of some of it's like with the sports, but I just feel the connection that those people have to whether it's their Ivy League schools or other, I feel that I have that connection with St. John's and my friends who, as I said, we took a picture, my big sister in the sorority. I mean, we have been friends since 1970, and it's now 2021. So just to show you, I mean, like we've been to each other's weddings. She didn't have children, but her niece got married a few years ago. And I was one of the few of the 10 people that went, myself and my, current husband, we went to the wedding. So, I mean, it spanned time. She's been to my house a number of times. As I said, she's the big sister. And we have a whole little, which was really nice during COVID. Every morning, somebody would say, good morning. And there was a group of us. It's like eight to 10 of us. Hello, how you doing? Kind of going through different things. Right now, somebody's going through, something with her family. They've got COVID. So we're all, saying prayers and encouragement. And several of my sorority sisters, their husbands also went to St. John's. So, most of them, actually one of the sorority sisters, her husband is my son's fraternity brother.
Wow.
So it's like, and then as I had mentioned, my daughter-in-law, she didn't go to St. John's, but her brother went to St. John's in Staten Island. Her father went to St. John's downtown Brooklyn and St. John's Law School. So my son even kind of married into a St. John's family. And it's just, like I said, it's family. There's no other way to describe it. And if you need something, they're there. And as I said, with 9/11, the outpouring from St. John's, friends was, I mean, from the university was like amazing. So they, they're there for good times and bad. And one of the other things was my late husband himself and another person, when there were layoffs and whatnot in the corporate world, because someone higher up went to St. John's. I don't know the person, but when he found out that they were alum, just like you would do if you went to Yale or Harvard or any of those places, they kept their job.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does reach out into a lot of places.
Absolutely. That was absolutely incredible. And again, I commend you for all of your hard work and what you do for this university. I thank you because in reality, you were a big help with me deciding to go to St. John's as well. And without you, I wouldn't be interviewing you right now, nor would I be working with the Office of Gift Planning. So there are a lot of things that, again, alumni do behind the scenes, and for what you've done for me personally, obviously knowing each other for an X amount of years. And I'm in debt to you. Thank you so much for what you have done for this university.
And one of the things I have is I have a scholarship set up. My husband was always great accounting student, but overall student. And he would always say, the smart kids, the ones who always get scholarships. What about someone, he would call himself like the Avis, that we try harder. So I did set up a scholarship in his name for a student who is a worker, but a B student. And it's not just the A students who automatically get it, because there are students who are B students, and for whatever reason, they work so hard. So we just felt, myself and my children, that we needed to do something to honor him. So there is a Joseph L. Howard Memorial Scholarship, to kind of honor him and honor the students who, like Avis, can't be number one like Hertz, but they're number two, but they're still trying harder.
It's wonderful. That is amazing. God bless you, and God bless your husband who unfortunately passed. I will always keep you guys in my thoughts. I keep you in my prayers as well as your family. This has been such a wonderful interview. Again, I thank you for your time. I'm so happy that we were able to finally do this. Absolute pleasure.
But we're looking forward to seeing you in person on Saturday. It's nice to start seeing people in person, and it's great. Like when the alumni events will be starting again and so forth, that we can actually see real people.
No doubt about it. And for everybody who watched, thank you guys so much. You guys mean the absolute world to us, and we will see you soon.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.